Nowhere. But anyway, let's not get into that.
Can you talk about what you do? I mean, I don't want you to.
Sure.
I'm just because here's the thing. What I'm interested in. I've been thinking about you for like a week now.
Oh.
Because last time when we talked, you talked about something of a result that you talked about, and you said that you would share it willingly and publicly. A couple of days ago, I watched Joe Rogan's podcast, and he had an encounter with another scientist who was speaking about very specific molecules that they have developed, a combination of sorts that, well, he wasn't saying the same thing you did, but that genuinely enhances your life, that removes muscle fatigue, that gives you capacity that I, as an unknowing amateur, would regard as superhuman. Very much aligned with what you have said, and it got me interested because he was very open about giving all the information about it, because he has been taking some of the results of these molecules and drugs for like a decade or something.
Yeah.
He has been experimenting on himself. I don't know how ethically that goes with the scientific world.
Well, I mean,
how true is it even? So let's just ask that first.
it's very easy to muddy the waters by hypotheses that are not theories yet, or by molecules that are being tested but not really tested yet. It's very easy to do that. But regardless of that, I mean, I'll throw out this one thing. Think about this. About 200 years ago, if you found a man who lived to the age of 80, you would call him superhuman.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So it's not really that far out. It has never been that far out to be, to improve life to a degree where current crop would think of it as superhuman. And add to that now the fact, and fact I mean it, is that research, not just in biology but in all spheres, is accelerating at an exponential rate, not at a linear rate.
Along with
it's at an
technology.
exponential, exactly.
Sure.
So between the last 200 years, we went from people are dying because of a cold to people are surviving with HIV. In the last 10 years, that could go from, people are dying at the age of 80, people are dying at the age of 150. It's not unimaginable by even the simplest stretch of imagination. Like, it's not that hard to imagine. What is harder to imagine is removing the limit on life. That is hard to imagine, because you would succumb to some or the other form of fatigue eventually. That's just how life is. But yeah, I mean, it's very likely that in the next couple of decades or so, we will have a way to make people live healthier, longer.
Well, we already do have that. I mean,
yeah. I mean, if I recollect, the way we talked about the last time also was that the limiting factors to human progress as a civilization or as a society now is time.
It's a lifetime.
Yeah, is that we could have geniuses living amongst us, but they don't have any more than 20 to 50 years of productive duration.
And well, you're very generous there.
I'm very generous there.
Extremely.
Like 20 is the lower limit according to me, because most people after their academics, geniuses at least, start showing that.
But how many examples can you show when some accident just cuts them? So,
not many people have such a rich trail to leave behind. But given that is the highest limitation, I think progress will only multiply once we start extending people's lifespan. The problem with that is that I don't know how generic these kind of health benefits will be, given the way our
generic.
Yeah, I mean, our society is structured, right? Heavily so, with boundaries that are drawn between economic classes,
has to be,
countries, and stuff like that.
Sure.
Given that, and given the knowledge that geniuses don't belong to a single economic or country or economic class or country or stuff, I don't know overall.
In the better countries.
I don't know overall our ability to extend human life and improve human life living standards is going to impact our ability of innovation. And I can't imagine that will be a direct correlation, but it will be some form
Probably
of correlation.
not. Yeah, sure,
But not a direct one.
probably not a direct one. Well, that would be some form of a miracle,
Yeah,
I think,
it
or
would
that
be.
that would be
It's yeah.
enforced with a genocide behind that, where the other people aren't.
No.
Yeah,
It's impossible that Pfizer comes up with a drug that makes you live 40 more years. Imagine that, and imagine that drug being accessible to kids in Africa. You think that's going to happen? No.
not very fast.
No.
Sure.
No. It will take several more decades after the drug came out.